welcome to another installment of the Zionsville Football Fantasy Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. This week brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper, the only fantasy football app made for fans by fans. This is the show where we take a look into the details and goings on in this league because we all know our commissioner won't. I'm here with my co-host as usual, Mr. RJ Wagner. RJ, how are you doing?
Ted, playoff time, man. Playoff time. Happy to be here where I am, the 3 seed, 2-game win streak. Finished tied for second in the breakdown with Kyle, which I think speaks to my consistency that my team has gathered, especially this back half of the season. Really excited for the playoffs. Let's get this show on the road, huh?
Let's get the show on the road, and we've got a very special guest. Emphasis on special. Here he is, Kevin Paul O'Brien.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and let me just say it's the holiday season. But more importantly, it's the playoff season. I am absolutely thrilled to be here, coming off a massive win over the Bink, and I'm ready to get into the details. Let's waste no time. Let's dive in.
Let's waste no time. Let's get that Week 14 recap. There's one big matchup, and then we can kind of go quickly through the others. Jack beat Chase 110-96. Honestly, neither team really deserved it. They both Jack really sputtering in, but he had Kyler, Bijan, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and Cup all getting over 17, enough for him. And then Chase, the Bucky Irving decision killed him. Rashad White with, I think, 25, Bucky Irving with 2. Would have been the difference for Chase, but he had Kyron there with 22, CD he looked like he was going to get it. He had like 15 in the first quarter, but just not enough for Chase. RJ, how'd you feel about that?
Yeah, this matchup, it was actually pretty back and forth all Sunday. If you kept track of the projections, you had Jack, then Chase, then Jack, then Chase, and then ultimately Jack pulling it out. But you could really see why these two teams were in this position with the total points scored compared to the rest of the league. Non-consistent play from your big-time performers for Jack, DK, Mike Evans, Hawkinson, and then Herbert, Will Dissly, and you mentioned Bucky Irving. He looked good on the first drive, but he got hurt, which was a killer for him. And then obviously Rashad White took over from there.
Ended up on the spectrum.
Yeah. He is. He just, teetered a little further. Had to take him out for the game, put that little special round helmet on him, make sure he doesn't fall and hurt his head. But there were some bright spots in this matchup. Bijan, he's been on an absolute tear for Jack. He made sure Jack was going to be in the playoffs this year. Cooper Kupp with 92 and a touchdown. Even Tyrone Tracy getting in the end zone was big. And like you said, Chase with Kyron, CD after the first touchdown on that drive. Really gave Jack a scare, I'm sure, but it just wasn't enough to get him in the playoffs. For Chase, good luck Week 17. For Jack, welcome to the playoffs.
Kev, anything to throw in about Jack beating Chase?
Certainly, this was definitely a sixth-place fucker walk matchup. Pretty gross one here, each team with only one guy going over 20 points. I mentioned last time I was on, Chase picked his poison, going with Herbert over Baker Mayfield because of all the plus matchups that he had. Just didn't really work out. Herbert, 13.8 average in his last 3. Yeah, Ted?
He still wouldn't have won if he had Baker in, just throwing it out there.
Right.
But if he had Baker and Rashad White.
Well, he just need Rashad White.
But what if he had Baker and Herbert, 2-quarterback system?
That's not how this league works. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Something for the postseason party. But yeah, Kyron was great. Only wanted to go over 20 for Chase. Kyron's really been great all year. Wanted to note that CeeDee Lamb finishes the regular season at wide receiver 4. I was thinking I was thinking last night about who might go top 2, top 3 next year, and CD. I mean, he's still up there. It didn't help Chase much with him being in the last place game, but Cowboys been terrible. Dak's been hurt, and CD still putting up numbers. A look ahead to the last place game for Chase. 14.3 from Devontae Adams a game in his last 5. So he's kind of come back to life and could be huge for Chase to avoid wearing the children. Devontae also averaging 11 targets a game in that span. As far as Jack, the Yoffs are the Yoffs. Maybe the new standard is getting to 5 wins and not 6. He gets in at 5-9. His 20 plus was Kyler. Gotta love an average of 18 from his running backs. I want to talk about a little purple man on his bench, Jordan Addison, averaging 20.6 a game in his last 4. That's good enough for wide receiver 3, averaging 9 targets over that span. Taking full advantage of Justin Jefferson taking all the defense's attention away. Cooper Kupp played well. With Jack, I mean, he needed it and he got it. Wanted to say, Jack just bought himself a week of fun. Like when you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. And he is at the bottom looking up in the playoff picture. But you know what? You have 4 to 6 days to delude yourself that you have a chance to win this thing. So you know what? Take full advantage of it. I've been that guy before, just sneaking into the playoffs. So good for you, Jack. You're in. Little side note just to wrap this one up. This was a gross game, like I said, including the fact that Jack won with only scoring 111. But Teddy, through 14 weeks, has his opponents only averaging 105 against him. So that would still be a higher total, even in a game that we all agree was disgusting. So just wanted to throw that out there. Congratulations to Jack.
Chase has to be killing himself looking at his bench, as a whole. His quarterback on his bench did better. Devontae with 21. His tight end on the bench did better. Rashad White with 24. Like every single person on his bench would have been better for him than what he did with the starting lineup.
Oh, yeah.
That's really tough. And in this sort of with the magnitude of this game, I feel like that has to show that maybe his heart wasn't in managing his fantasy team, and it was managing his conference calls that he always had in his consulting meetings.
You really got to wonder. You really got to wonder. Taking a look at our next matchup, this one was exciting. This one had nuclear all around. A lot of nuclear performances this week. RJ, you beat Kyle 150 to 145 in something I did not think was going to become a nail biter, but it really was. Burrow with 30, Puka with 36, Garendo with 26 for you. That was enough to beat Darnold with 45 and Jamar with 38, which was insane numbers at the top of his team. But both of your teams kind of a little rocky because they were a little top heavy there. But RJ, how did you feel about getting that win, securing that 3 seed, putting yourself on the side of the bracket you didn't want to be on?
Or did he?
After I saw Darnold go for 44 in the 1 p.m.s, honestly, I didn't think there was much I could do. But another 40-plus quarterback performance with a loss. He now joins me and you, Ted.
It's kind of a bad omen.
It is. You want 39 for your quarterback. That's as good as he can go. Once he goes 40, everyone else does shit.
Or 57.
Yeah, or 57.
That's a random number.
Is that what I had?
That's what Josh Allen had.
Oh, that's what I know. I think Burrow had 50 at one point, didn't he? Or no? I don't know. But really a 2-man nuclear performance on Kyle's team. Just imagine if you started Charbonnet over Kenneth Walker with Kenneth Walker being out. Tough for Swift, Cook, even Bowers only getting 6.7. Not the consistent play you really want to see from some guys heading into the playoffs. But, still get 145. That usually gets you a win 9 times out of 10. This was just that 10th time. For me, T. Higgins really let me down. But I could pretty much live with everyone else's performance. Puka, Garendo, you mentioned it, went off in the fours for me. Didn't have much on my bench, so I used all the guys I could, all the guys I had to use, but glad they were really able to help me pull up my ninth win of the year. I actually went to bed before the game was over last night and had no idea that it was even that close. I figured having Joe Burrow like covering Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, like, okay, yeah, like I'll be good, but it was closer than what I thought.
Yeah, do you have anything to say about your next opponent, how he did last week?
Yeah, this was scary on both sides looking at the playoff picture. I mean, RJ just doing his thing here with the consistency. Burrow shows up again. Guarendo, although he got hurt, filled in for Mixon because old Joe was on a bye. David Montgomery still with one single-digit game all year. The consistency is crazy. Puka season high on 14 targets. Gotta love seeing that. And the Rams as a team really making a playoff push and turning a lot of heads down the stretch. My takeaway here on RJ is why he is so dangerous. And it's because I was looking through the point totals this morning, and this wasn't even that crazy. Like Puka had an insane game with 36, but with RJ's running back room, not shocked at all to see 40 plus between the two backs. It happened to be the Niners guy, but it could be Mixon, Kenneth Walker. And I mean, long story short, put up 150 without anything too insane. And so the consistency there, RJ, I feel like has to be feeling really good. Kyle, I mean, sure, he lost. Ugh, uh, I have a whole rant we'll get to in the preview, but Kyle put up 145 with three starters on a bye. I mean, it's just terrifying. I did want to dig into the numbers a little bit on Mr. James Cook. So, the Bills, as a Josh Allen owner, I watch a lot of Bills this year, and they've been really going away from the run game the last few weeks. Like, it's been frustrating the first half of the season. James Cook stealing a lot of touchdowns. Um, but Cook has less than 10 carries a game in the last three. And if you just watch, I know yesterday was Sunday was game script because they were down for a lot. But the other two games they won, and they've been very pass first. Maybe they're trying to get Josh Allen the MVP. I don't really know. But that's something to watch out for that we get when we get to the preview as well. As far as Jamar Chase, I mean, the fantasy numbers just weren't telling the full story for me. And so I just looked at the straight up stats. The guy leads the league in catches, leads the league in yards by 150, leads the league in touchdowns. He has 15, while the next guy has 9. So, I mean, maybe undisputed 1-1 next year. I don't know. Like Jamar Chase is putting up video game numbers this year. And I wanted to, and also Kyle just plugs in wide receiver 6, JSN, who gets him 17 points. And then, next week I'll just bench him for the playoffs because I don't need him. So that must be a nice luxury that Kyle has. And then, Bauer is the second in the league in catches as a rookie tight end. So definitely think he'll be the first tight end off the board next year, maybe years to come, potentially putting up Gronk numbers. I mean, if they put a team around him in Vegas, especially with another, pass catching threat, he's going to be great. But yeah, I mean, this was just nuclearness all around. Side note, shout out to the league on setting our league scoring record. And this matchup was huge in getting us there. Congrats to RJ on the 3 seed. And I got a lot to say about playing maybe the hottest team in the league in Kyle, but this was a fun one.
I had a fun fact that kind of went with what you were saying, Kev. I'll go ahead and just say it now. But James Cook saw 100% of Buffalo's running back rushes last game. It was 6. That was all the running back rushes was 6 last week. So
and Allen paying him back for some of those vultures with 3 rush touchdowns of his own. Would love to see that next week.
That is crazy. And speaking of Kyle, we've got a surprise guest, another entrance.
Oh! Perfect timing.
Scared the dogs. Sorry.
We just talked about you.
Oh yeah, and
or our matchup, I guess.
How
Do
long
you
have
have
you been
anything
here?
to say?
Did you hear our recap?
I heard Josh Cook's run share. Or Josh Cook, James Cook, and then I've been here about 10 seconds.
Oh,
What are
hey,
your thoughts?
My
So
thoughts on our matchup.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on a recap on our matchup?
A fun stat is I am the first team ever to score 9 touchdowns and lose.
Whew.
So it's just a tale of the year. I mean, 7-7 with the second most points. So feeling good. I mean, I didn't
Second in the
after
breakdown.
huh?
Second in the breakdown.
Yeah. After Sam Darnold put up almost 50, I thought it was in the bag, and then the 4:00 games happened, and then I thought it was over, and then all of a sudden Jamar almost took it all the way back. So it was a fun roller coaster, but I mean, it doesn't mean a ton, considering we're all already in the playoffs and everybody's got to play a game next week anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize how much I dropped in the breakdown. I'm 4th. I only finished 4 games ahead of Teddy in the breakdown. I feel like I was consistently right around 2nd. I went 0-7 last week. That killed me. 4-3 this week.
Keep moving on some matchups that don't really mean too much. Just Kevin, your performance going to the playoffs pretty nice. You beat Monty 140-115. Monty was really doing his best, but with Hertz with 28, Connor with 20, and then everyone else just pretty pedestrian. Kev, I don't know why you disrespected Josh Allen and all this Baker Mayfield talk, but 57 points is insane. Besides that, only Kittle with 18, and you still scored 140. That's crazy. I guess I don't know if we need everyone to talk about every single matchup because we got a lot. But RJ, if you want to say something real quick.
I think
3-hour pod.
It was all talk for the to the media, so Josh Allen would hear it, get upset, and want to show his coach what he could do. So while Kev got the win, that I did hear some rumblings. There were some bettors, future bettors, that were very upset that he finished a half game short of his projected win line of 8.5. There was some people had some money on the over, well, maybe just one, and they lost on that. But regardless, this week was ran by Josh Allen. Was really shocked that he didn't start Baker, the real number 1 quarterback on his team. Defense didn't really help much considering they got -1. Running backs did go no nuclearness.
Did go no
nuclear?
Did they go nuclear or not? I don't have it up, and I don't want to click on it.
Not really. Combined for like 30.
Did not. Okay. Kittle, great. Receivers, though, not the type of work you want to see head going into the playoffs. Might need to really bring them into the office and give them a good old talking to, sort of like you did with did you do that with Josh Allen?
I did. I gave him a beating.
Bink 3-11 season. Maserati Marv looked more like Moped Marv. Malik Neighbors missed the target share that he got with Daniel Jones. Down year from Laporta. Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. I don't know if you guys saw the news, but apparently they're going through something. Lack of chemistry there. Just tough way to go out. And sort of like I said with Chase, good luck week 17.
Going through a divorce and trying to figure out who gets the kids and the dog.
Yeah, just my only call out here is Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns and the rest of Kevin's team combined for 0. I don't know if that's going to win you a championship, leaning that heavy on one guy.
Smack talk starting.
That hasn't been the case all year, but last week, yeah.
Yeah, he's leaned on two guys, Josh
Yeah.
Allen and Saquon. Rest of his team's dog water. Kev, what do you got to say about your performance last week?
Josh Allen, a wonderful performance. From all the research I did, most fantasy points by a quarterback ever. That is ever in the history of fantasy football, at least according to Field Yates. Ted, I have a good amount of stuff here. Can I read all of it?
Peyton Manning got 60 in our league a few years back, I remember.
Yeah, because we had passing touchdowns equal to 6. So
Oh yeah, you're right. That's the difference.
Sure, Kev, go ahead. I don't know how much is a lot, but
yeah, I guess we'll see. So you guys touched on it. I want us to keep in mind as I kind of go line by line, week by week through every single player on my team.
Okay, maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you don't need to do that.
I want to keep in mind that maybe my players are saving themselves a little bit. Maybe they're saving themselves for marriage. And let's walk through it here. So running backs were definitely disappointing. Saquon was playing the worst run defense. Pollard was playing the second worst run defense. However, Saquon's at that status now where 15 is a bad game for him. I'll take that. I was going to end up in the 4-5 game anyway. Pollard got 13.4, 100 plus rushing yards in 2 of his last 3. He's been huge for me this year. But we got to talk about my wide receivers. I mean, you guys already brought it up. So my first round pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown, was on an absolute tear. I think last time I was on here, touchdowns in 8 straight games. He was on Jamar's heels for wide receiver 1. In his last 3, he's averaging less than 9 points a game. Wide receiver 41 in the last 2 weeks. Drake London, great start to the year. He's averaging less than 10 in his last 6. He's wide receiver 25 the last 2 weeks. And here's the thing. That's still good enough for ASB to be wide receiver 3, London to be wide receiver 7. I have some thoughts going forward, but we'll hit those in the preview on how I think these slumps will work out next week. George Kittle, 18 from him. He's been great. And although the matchup was out of reach at this point, how about Rico Dowdle taking over the backfield from Zeke? Kid has some shiftiness. He went for 18 and 131 this week, 22 carries for 112 and a touchdown last week, running back 6 the last 2 weeks. Playing the Panthers this week, I ask you, all 4 of us, is Rico Dowdle a league winner? Relying on the Cowboys run game. I guess we'll see. RJ said it, but it is playoff time, and getting 4 combined points from my kicker and defense is just not going to cut it. So they have to clean that up. I believe I own 3 defenses, if not 4 right now. So hopefully one of them can do something for me based on matchups. One comment on my bench, Isaiah Pacheco. I said he would take over the backfield, and I was technically right. I mean, he had 14 carries after splitting last week. Hunt and Samaje Perine combined for 8 touches. I just don't know if I can start him. I mean, he's averaged 6.3 in the 2 games that he's played. He has all top fantasy run defenses the rest of the way. It is just a shame. And he was my 3rd round pick. Nobody has the injury luck that I do. And I'm just not going to get to use them all year besides like weeks 1 and 2. So it really is too bad that I just don't think I can play him. For Monty, Jalen Hurts was great. James Conner hadn't gone over 20 all season.
You're complaining about your 3rd round pick, and my first 2 were ETN and CMC. I don't want to.
Nobody
I
has
actually have the math that
injury
you don't
luck.
have the worst injury luck.
Nobody can compare to my
Kevin's been in
injury.
injury hell this whole season.
Whole season. I still went 8 and 6.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, James Conner hadn't gone over 20. Monty's receiver room is a disaster. Brian Thomas Jr. is wide receiver 9 on the year. I think he's someone to look out for next year with Doug Peterson gone, with Trevor Lawrence healthy. And I just think it's representative, this matchup was, of how the season's gone for both teams. Like, I was disappointed with my entire team besides Josh Allen and still won by 25. And last note here, there will not be a repeat champion. The Bank should rest up. He certainly needs it. Got a big one in 2 weeks if you don't want to go from first to worst and confirm that last year was a Bank fluke. So we'll see about week 17, but just an absolute thrashing. And Josh Allen, over 40 points per game as an engaged man.
Kev, I do have just two fun facts off of what you just said. Amon-Ra, sorry. I might as well get him in. Wow.
I like weaving them in.
Yeah. Amon-Ra saw a 15% target share, his lowest since week 8. You know who saw a larger target share? Tim Patrick, 18%.
He hadn't caught a touchdown in 2 years, and he kind of looks like Amon-Ra. I thought the second one especially.
Whoa. All Lions wide receivers look alike?
No.
And then, except for Sam Laporta. And then for Bank, Brian Thomas Jr., sort of what you're saying, he saw a 40% target share against the Titans, which was his first time over 30% all year, and it was 40. So, yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
All right, if you guys don't have any more, I would call this the least exciting matchup. I beat Trevor 145 to 130. One big headline: Garrett Wilson did not get a touchdown, and therefore Trevor did not break the all-time scoring record, as RJ said. But for me, I loved Goff and Jacobs on Thursday, starting off hot. And then Tyreek with 23 finally coming back to life. Mm-hmm. And then with Trevor, honestly, great play. Like, if the game meant something, it'd be great for him to plug Tua in. He got 27. Big story for Trev. Justin Jefferson kind of coming back to life with 29. Chase Brown looking good too, but I just had a little bit more firepower to get that 1 seed on top of the league, as everyone says I deserve.
Disgusting.
It's been a great season. But yeah, RJ, if you have anything to say about this matchup.
Another high-scoring affair. I mean, this week was filled with them. But Ted, I'm gonna give you your flowers. I feel like late in this season, late in the year, you've shown that you might not belong as the number 1 seed, but you belong in the playoffs, and you belong there. But I don't know about the bye, but
it took 14 weeks to decide the 1 seed deserves to be in the playoffs. That's good.
Your team's looking better though. Tyreek with Tua, I know when Tua first came back wasn't great, but looked great last game. Judy, I think I mentioned before on the podcast, he's looked really good since Jameis has become the starter. And let's not forget to mention, you scored. Wait, what'd you score? 140?
145.
145 without Derrick Henry and without Terry McLaurin, and with Najee Harris, which is another fun fact in itself, that Jalen Warren outsnapped Najee Harris by like 13 snaps. But yeah, Trevor, I mean, he still scored 130 even with a 0 from Jaden Reed, and without Lamar. Could have easily started Juwan Jennings and gotten that top seed. Big time blunder from the manager over at the Beaver Muncher squad. Still solid performances all around. Besides that, Brandon Aubrey has only scored double digits once since week 6. Will Trevor stick with him in the semis? I don't know. That's all I got. Congrats to you, Ted.
Yeah, Ted, if you look at the graph on like the website, you were never trailing and it was never even close. So this one was just a blowout from the get-go. I think that this is 2 different teams here that are going in opposite directions. I think Trev is slipping a little bit, and Ted, to your credit, you're hot the last couple weeks when you need to be. So I don't know. Take that what you will. Again, I think this is probably the least deserved 1 seed probably of all time, but you got it. And nobody could beat you. So it is what it is.
Yeah, Kev, you got anything else to say?
I do. I'm just going to hit my highlights, but I have the league up. So you scored the 5th most points and the least points. So, oh my God, 1474 points against. The next lowest is 1602.
Wow.
Which is Trevor, the 2 seed.
The top 3 seeds are the 3 lowest points against, but that's just absurd.
So why blame me?
If you want to do it in a per game basis, the league average points per game was 117, and Teddy's opponents averaged 105.
You're starting up 12-0 every week.
It's not my fault. Everyone else had bad weeks against me.
So let me hit some of my highlights here. So Chase Brown, 9 out of 10 double-digit games. Achane, 6 out of 7. Last time I was on, I talked about if Trevor has a wide receiver 2 problem, and I have a stat for you. So Trevor went mega nuclear in week 9, scored like 175 or something. Since then, his wide receiver 2 position on the roster has scored 6.6, 3.8, 3.7, 6.6, and 0 for an average of 4.14. So I still think that he has a problem. Juwan Jennings got a lot of targets. RJ, maybe a target share stat, so maybe he fills in the playoffs. But Trev, he's sitting on the beach, cocktail in hand, and he has the week off. So he's looking forward to week 16, and he definitely earned that bye. Teddy, you're definitely hot. And my only thing for Teddy, week 12, Kamara had a bye. You did not start Chuba Hubbard. Week 14, Derrick Henry had a bye. You did not start Chuba Hubbard. Rather, you started Najee Harris. Are you ever going to start Chuba Hubbard? The Panthers are rejuvenated. He just got 26 carries. I begged you for him, and you don't even play him. Why? Like, week 12 made sense. I forget who you plugged in. But why don't you play him?
I think he did it as a statement to you, like, fuck you, I don't need to start Chuba Hubbard.
This last week, I think he did. I agree.
No, it was merely, get a bench guy, get him in there, get him some experience in a low-stakes game. Najee did good. He had an early touchdown. He did what he needed to win. And
Question, did you want the 2 seed? Is that why you did it? Did you want to lose because you have a chance at playing either me, who you've beaten twice, or Jack?
No, I didn't necessarily care that much about which one I got.
Okay.
It was purely just to get Najee some
Okay. Are you now, as the 1 seed, are you happy with the seeding?
I'm a little afraid of whoever's going to come out of the Kyle Kevin Rumble.
Who do you want to see?
I think I want to see Kevin, because Kevin is just, he can't have 3 good weeks in a row.
That's true. Look at the breakdown, actually. Kevin has been very invert, top of the league, sort of near the bottom, top, bottom.
Should we power rank you can't pick yourself who you want to see win?
Who you want to see win, or who you think will win?
Who you want to win. If you can't pick yourself, who's your top 3 in order?
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. The first time you said it, I thought you meant WHEN. Like, who do you want to see and win? You're saying
WIN, win the championship. Your top 3. You can't pick yourself.
Who do I want to see?
Probably Kyle, Teddy. Because I wouldn't mind if Jack
I was
won.
thinking about this earlier. When you get to 3, it's hard.
Yeah, because like I don't mind Jack winning, but that is also sort of the bit with Kevin of why I don't want Kevin to win is because. So I don't know if I want Jack to win.
Because I would have RJ 1 and Teddy 2, and then at 3 it is hard.
You guys aren't picking Trevor at all? Huh? You guys aren't picking Trevor at all?
How many wins does Trevor have?
He has 3 wins, but he hasn't won since 2016.
Well, I don't want him to get to 4 because that's 2 more than me.
All right. Well, mine's, I don't know the order, but I can't pick myself. I can't have Jack win because then I'm the only one who hasn't, and then none of us can have Trevor win. So Teddy is number 1 for me because at this point, like, you're the 1 seed with the 5th most points. It would just be like an insane story we can talk about forever if you pull this off. 2, I don't know. I guess Kyle at 2 because I just think his team is a wagon, and then RJ at 3. But 2 and 3, I don't really care. Teddy would just be funny.
I had RJ 1 just because of the injury luck. I think it would be pretty monumental to win the championship, and you basically didn't have a first or second round pick.
Now, if I did power rankings, sorry, I'm going to go poop. If I did power rankings of what I think, of who I think will win, and I don't include myself, I'm going. That's hard too. Probably Kyle, Trevor, Kevin, Teddy, and then Jack.
Yeah.
Puka did drop. I know you took ETN second round. Puka did drop to the 3rd round. I forgot about that.
Didn't he have some injury questions?
Going into the year, I don't think so.
I know Christian McCaffrey did, that's for sure. Big question marks.
Unbelievable. Should I go ahead and do my fun facts, Ted? The rest of them?
If you're ready for them, we'll knock that out. Then we'll do the playoff preview.
Jaden Reed ran 15 routes for the Packers on Thursday night. Christian Watson ran 22. Dontavian Wicks ran 18. Reed only saw a 5.3% target share. Season low for him, and he's scored fewer than 10 points per game in 5 of his last 7. And the person that led all the Packers in routes run is Tucker Kraft last game. Calvin Ridley hasn't seen a target share south of 20% since week 4, averaging 30 since the D-Hop trade.
Wow.
Waddle the last 3 Kyle, you got the thumbs up. Waddle the last 3 weeks, 20.2 points per game. Every week before that, he averaged 8.
Will you play him, Kev?
Oh, I talk about it in my preview.
Who has Kyle Pitts?
No one.
And I won't even talk about him. I was just saying he had his highest target share of the month, and he caught one pass, one of the 6 targets for only 14 yards.
Gross.
Jordan Addison only has 3 30-plus points per game performances in his career, and 2 of them happened in the last 3 weeks. Already said that Jalen Warren out-snapped Najee. Trey McBride now has 106 targets without a touchdown. Puka is averaging 23.7 points per game the whole year in games that he's completed.
Sheesh.
DeAndre Swift has had a 90% running back share in the last 3 weeks, but he hasn't gotten double digits in any of his contests. And then last one, Kittle with CMC, 15% target share. Without CMC, 24% target share.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, that's it.
Were all those stats while you took a dump?
Yep. And I thought I was done, but I'm not.
Man of the people.
Pooping or stats?
Oh, done with the stats.
Okay.
It's a quiet poop. I haven't heard anything.
Thank you. I've tried to make it quiet.
I couldn't do that. So we'll be back real quick with a quick commercial break. Then we'll be back for the playoff week 1 preview of this year. We'll be right back.
New Yuki Crossroad. Handle anything.
Well, I don't know if they'll be able to handle this. They have no idea, but my gambling's gotten to the point where we can barely afford this car. I feel so alone. But I know there's help.
And welcome back for the playoffs week 1 preview. Only 2 matchup this week, but don't worry, we'll be sure to have a lot of analysis for this.
Wait, Ted, it's not a segment, but I have a little something to say before we dive into the preview.
Okay.
I just wanted to say this might be my last time on the pod. Thank you to our millions of subscribers. We have the best jobs.
Oh.
Oh, hey, Kev. Sorry about that.
Thank you to our Twitter admin doing the hard work. Thank you to the provider of this year's Binky Bets that actually won. It's been a great year, and I just want to, cheers to next year. We're minimum 10 million new subscribers are coming.
Kevin, this is how you wipe sitting down. Okay? This is how a normal person wipes. I'm just letting you know.
Gotta stand up, get all the way in there.
So RJ, are you ready for the?
Yeah, hold on. Just let me flush and pull up my pants. All right. As we begin the preview of quarterfinals week of the 2024 ZFFFL, I must remind you of our sponsorship over at our ZFFFL A6 Sportsbook, A6 Footwear. It's playoff time, baby. Ass-eating season is squaring off against Bed Bath & Beyond, while Put It All In My Butker takes on the infamous Riley Reid option. The pressure's hot and only the strong survive. Enter the A6 Gel Kayano Light 3s. Lightweight, durable, and built to keep you steady when the stakes couldn't be higher. Whether you're juking defenders or dodging last place in your league, these shoes bring the edge you need. Don't crumble under the playoff heat. Lace up, lock in, and let the Gel Kayano Lights carry you to victory. Gel Kayano Lights. Playoffs demand greatness. Deliver it. A6. A sound mind is a sound body.
Oh, I thought that was going to get really horny.
Oh, no.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why it would.
Thank you. Thank you to
I was
our
waiting for a
partners.
one-liner too.
So let's get into the playoff week 1 preview. We'll start out with the iHeartRadio Walking on Sunshine matchup, because both of these two, when they win, they'll just be happy. RJ versus Jack. RJ, you need the Burrow train to keep rolling. Also, you need to get all your running backs on the same page. Not sure if you guys were keeping up with the Dolphins game, but what was up with the Jonnu? 0 points in regulation. And then Jack, he's really got to have everyone have their best week. Bijan on Monday night could be huge. I think his wide receivers, Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp, they need to get it together. Either one or both of them needs to go nuclear for him to have a chance. RJ, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, it's fun. I didn't know if anyone else saw that Jonnu thing.
Ended up with 13 points, but 0 catches in regulation.
3 catches in the touchdown.
I saw. Don't worry. I saw.
Well, this matchup gets started Thursday night with a couple of teammates. Big matchup. Cooper Kupp versus Puka Nacua. Is it going to be Cooper Kupp? Is it going to be Pooper Fuck? Who knows? At the moment, I also have Jake Moody in there. But we've all been to the quarterfinals before. Monday night games are a must. Jack has 2 of them in Bijan and TJ Hawkinson, while I have none. Matchups for my pass catchers aren't great. Actually pretty terrible. Jonnu, Puka all on the road and facing top 3, 4, and 8 defenses against their position. David Montgomery seeing a bottom 3 run defense in Buffalo. For Jack, few tough matchups as well. Tyrone Tracy, Cooper Kupp, DJ Metcalf facing top 9, 8, and 9 defenses against their position. Also, if we played each other every week of the year, I went and checked our totals and added it up. If we were head-to-head, what our records would be, I would be 8-6. So I only have beaten him 1 game more than he's beaten me, because it would be 7-7, obviously.
Whoa.
So really, I think it's anyone's ball game, even though I know a lot of people see me as a pretty large favorite. If I were to give a line, me personally, I'd say -3.5, maybe -4.5. Because last time we faced off, we're 1-1 against each other. Last time we faced off, he was my 6-1 unlucky loss because he was 7-0. But the book has me as -8 or -9.5. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kev, Kyle. Kev, you go first, but who you got in this one?
I'm calling this one the DeMar Hamlin defibrillator matchup.
Wow.
Because RJ's like the paramedic taking care of business, and Jack is dying on that gurney. I mean, Jack just needs big games from his normal guys, but the others have to step up. DK's just been non-existent for like the second half of the season. We talked about RJ's consistency. I don't think there's much to really write about here. I will mention David Montgomery, and because they play on the same team, Jahmyr Gibbs, have all green matchups the rest of the way, only playing some of the worst fantasy run defenses. This one is RJ -9.5. It is not close. I will be submitting a waiver to increase the maximum bet and also take an alternate spread of -14.5.
Wow.
I was curious who has been the most consistent throughout the year, maybe most second half of the year. Went and found everybody's kind of standard deviation for the year, and Jack's been all over the place in the second half of the year. He's the only one who has been less consistent the second half of the year than the first half of the year. His points per game the second half of the year is only 112. That would put him 6th, only ahead of the 2 people in the come game. So very fair last place matchup. RJ, on the other hand, is extremely hot. He has not scored under 125 the entire second half of the year. So for those reasons, I will be taking RJ with the points as well.
Wow. That's huge. 9.5. I think Jack might be on a little upset alert.
Whoa!
Because it just takes 1 week
Just
to
takes
be
one.
down.
And then if Jack wins, he gets basically a bye week playing you, Ted.
Wait, is that how it works?
Huh?
Does it reseed or?
Yeah, does it reseed?
No, I'm pretty sure he plays Trevor. I realized it when I said it.
Oh.
Well, moving on to the next matchup, the marquee matchup, the 2 gentlemen here. This is the United Healthcare kill or be killed matchup because both of these teams, there's no sitting around. You can't wait. They've got to take action early in the morning, just broad daylight, pew, 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 knock them down. Kyle, I think you just need to not have too many duds. You need Cook, Gibbs, Chase to all do what they do. And I think everyone else will sort of fill out. Kevin, on the other hand, I think you need Josh Allen, Saquon to combine for at least 60. Because Amon-Ra on the downturn. Drake London is on a terrible offense the past few weeks. I think you're going to need some help. RJ, what does the book think about this one?
Yeah, Kev will have Kittle going Thursday night. Kyle won't get started until the 1s on Sunday, I believe. Both finishing with 1 player Monday night each. Bowers versus London. That'll be a fun one.
Wow.
For the matchups, Dowdle facing the worst rush defense while Saquon is facing a top 10 rush defense. I don't think it's crazy. He's matchup proof. Josh Allen facing a top 5 defense in Detroit. Probably time to really get Baker in there. He's only facing the 9th best defense against the pass. For Kyle, just like Dave Montgomery, facing the Bills, bottom 3 run defense, all while Cook, Chase, Nico, Zay, all facing top 10 defenses against their position. No one really has great matchups. Some big question marks on starts. What's Kyle going to do? Zay, JSN, McConkey, Charbonnet if Walker's out again. So many options for Kev, Pacheco, Pollard, Dowdle, Thielen, or Waddle with his question marks at wide receiver. If they played each other each week, I went week by week, what their records would be, 7-7. They are
Wow.
7 times. Kyle's beat Kevin 7 times. The book, pick 'em.
Wow.
Wow.
Good preview. Kyle, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I thing that stood out in the preview is Bowers versus London Monday night. That'll be very fun. If we're tied going into Monday, I like my odds. As far as everybody else's matchup, like RJ said, I don't know who I'm going to put at flex just yet. My team is just so deep that I have so many options. Leaning towards Charbonnet probably if Walker doesn't play again, because when Walker doesn't play, I think he's like RB2 or 3 in those games. So that'll be interesting. Get Jaden back fresh off a bye. Same with Nico. No issues there health wise. I don't have any injury designations either across the board, so don't have to worry about that. The second half of the year, I am the second leading scorer behind only RJ. I have not scored under 120 either the entire. Oh, one time I did. One time. Sorry. I will take myself.
Wow.
Yeah, Ted, you might have to be the deciding factor in this podcast one.
I don't know, because this is the Brazzers who can last longer matchup. I told you guys I had a rant for my preview, and here it is. When you have never won a championship, you question a lot of things about football, about your life, about your meaning in this life. And if you had told me on draft night, hey, Kev, Josh Allen is going to win MVP. Saquon is going to have the second best odds to win MVP at the end of the regular season, on pace for 2,000 yards. Amon-Ra is going to be top 3. Drake London's going to pan out. He's going to be a top 7 receiver. George Kittle is going to have the most points per game of any tight end. That sounds like a bye week to me. But what is my reward? Playing the guy who has averaged 140 points per game since week 11. I was in the shower on Sunday night, happy about my win, but just kind of contemplating this in my head, like, what can I do differently? So you see just the internal struggle I'm dealing with being 0-14 on championships. Nevertheless, in the who can last longer matchup, these are just elite rosters. I think quarterback could be the difference. Josh Allen coming off a mega nuclear performance, as well as the Lions and Bills game. We have Josh Allen, James Cook, Amon-Ra, and Jahmyr Gibbs. Going to see a lot of the matchup tilt one way or the other in that game. We talked about Dowdle playing the worst run defense. I'm probably going to keep him in there since Pacheco scares me. Now let's go back to my wide receiver struggles. Here's why I think they can break out. Drake London in these last 4 games, when he has not been great, targets of 10, 16, 7, and 13. He's waiting to break out. As far as Amon-Ra, they're always looking his way, and the Lions play the Bills this week, who just got shredded by Kupp and Puka Nacua. So really need the receivers to step up this week. Love Kittle in a divisional matchup. The Rams just let the Bills go crazy last week. And RJ touched on it. My flex is interesting. Tony Pollard is on pace for 1,200 yards. There's an Adam Thielen resurgence that we have not really talked about. He's 17, 201, and a touchdown in his last 2 games on 21 targets. Good enough for wide receiver 8 with this new version of Bryce Young. Plus matchup this week against Dallas. Maybe he plugs in at the flex. Jalen Waddle, I don't know why I held on to him for so long because he's been atrocious all year. But 16.7 in the last 3 games, 300 yards in those games. He also has a plus matchup. So not sure what I'm going to do as far as my flex. Kyle covered everything with his team. My only thing is my strategy when it comes to his wide receivers, and that is to pray very long and very hard.
Jenny.
They both play at noon, and Jamar and Nico, though they have tough matchups on paper, can just absolutely bury me. So I at least hope that if that's the case, we can make it to Monday night. The receivers have, not their best performances, but this can be a good one. Like RJ said, 7-7 against each other the whole year, and I will take myself to advance to the semifinals and get one step closer to my first championship.
Ted, who do you got?
That's it. So, hearing both of what they're saying, I hate to say it, I think Kevin, just for the fact I'm looking at Kyle's team, and I think a lot of them could have some down weeks this week. Jaden Daniels, the Saints got a tough defense. Brock Bowers has been having trouble. I don't love Nico Collins. And then I think Jamar Chase against Tennessee. I just think the Bengals might have a down week against a down opponent. And just looking at Kev, and I could see him having another hot week. So I think I'm going to go with Kev.
All right, I'll go Kyle.
Wait a minute. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Regardless, it's a shame one of these two teams is going to be eliminated come Monday, because these are two phenomenal fantasy football teams.
Some people are saying that your guys' matchup winner goes to the championship.
Whoa!
Wow.
Who's saying that?
If I win, I'm going to have no issues with Teddy in the semis. I know that. Right, Ted?
Didn't you lose to me like last week?
Yeah. I went 8-6. I split with, speaking of me being just like absurdly mediocre. Oh, Kyle, we need an update on the point differential stat. I finished 8-6. I split with everyone, and then I beat I swept.
Split with everyone?
And then Monty was last week, and I beat him, so I swept him. Split with everyone else.
Kevin, overall in the history of the league, you are 86-87 with a point differential of 56.
86-87. Does that include playoffs?
That's just regular season.
God.
It says less than half. That's like 0.3 points per game.
0.33.
What is that? Like just over a single passing yard?
Yeah, pretty much. And then the Jack Marco franchise is 87 and 86.
Wow.
Yep. Jack still holding on to the all-time win percentage since he has less games, though. And then Ted, looks like you are going to be the first team ever to win 100 games next year.
Woo.
You are 97-76.
That's crazy.
What's Chase?
93-80.
Yeah, okay.
If Chase didn't just win 3 games this year,
Uh-huh.
he would have been right there.
Yep. Chase and Trevor have the same record. They're both 93-80.
Ted, so Monty won last year. Did you win the previous year?
Yes.
And that was your 3-peat. So you're going for 4 out of 5.
That'd be crazy.
Wow.
I didn't bring it up.
Also, just poor Monty. He's 66-107 with a point differential of negative 1,352.
But hey, flags fly forever.
Yes, they do.
He has one title on me. God, I want one so bad. What is it like to win a championship? Like, can you guys describe it?
So that's all the time we have. Unless you guys have anything more.
That was good timing.
Like, I've literally never won. Think about that. 15.
I was thinking you were going to do that when he was going on his rant. I thought you were going to mute him.
Do you guys have anything more to say? This is 3 out of the 4 people playing. Anything you guys want to say to Jack? Any bold predictions you want to make? Kevin says if he wins this week, he wins a championship. Any other bold predictions?
I think, it's playoff time. I think anything can happen, Ted. Like you said, it's one game at a time. You never know.
I saw a tweet yesterday that said, my strategy next year for drafting is in the first round, take the best available player, and then let God do the rest. And right now we're in the let God do the rest part, because I don't care how good everybody's team is. It's who can get lucky 3 weeks or 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Those buys are so huge. Like the consistency for me to win 3 in a row. Looking at some of the point totals everyone put up last week, that's a tall task.
I didn't look. I should have checked. Who has won 3 games in a row this year? I have. I think I won 4 or 5 in a row.
You were on a 4-game win streak just now.
I had a 6-game win streak earlier in the year.
I'm assuming, Ted, you and Trevor did, since you're 11-3.
Trevor ripped off like 7 in a row or something.
Didn't Trevor and I start off 5-0?
I don't think you both.
No, I started off 5-0, but I played Trevor, so Trevor was like 4-1.
And who was your first loss?
You.
5-1.
Who have you lost to, Ted?
I lost to Kevin. I lost to you, RJ, and I lost
won.
to Trevor.
I beat you?
I
beat you. I thought I
It
beat
was
you.
Kyle. It was Kyle. Yeah.
I think we split.
So both people on your bracket, your side of the bracket, you split with.
That experience is crazy.
Wow.
So I could play my demons, playing Kevin, then Kyle, then Trevor.
Whoa, Trevor.
Well, yeah, Trevor's going to beat Jack, no problem.
Whoa. RJ, did you say that Teddy swept you this year?
I thought so.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. It's hard to beat a team 3 times.
And I swept Trevor.
Whoa.
Really? Wow.
Whoa, so you don't even have any Ben Munchen Beaver mints.
No, I don't.
And if it comes to it, RJ swept me.
Whoa.
Did I?
Yep. You were up 1-0 going into last week.
Oh.
So if Trevor has 4 losses, RJ swept him. I beat him once. Who was his other one?
Me?
I lost to Jack.
Trevor split with
I lost to
Kevin,
Monty.
and then Teddy beat him twice, and then yeah. No, wait, you split, and then RJ beat him twice.
Yeah. Whew. Well, if that's all we got, as always, thanks for listening to the Zions of Football League Fantasy Football Podcast. Make sure to get those bets in before the Thursday night game. Be sure to follow us on social at ZFFFL or at ZFFFL Podcast due to some tough legal issues. Follow us on all major platforms. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And as always,
Fuck
you, Trevor.